Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is August 1st, 2025. Howard, how do you feel about the price action in the past couple of days? When we saw, I think the biggest down week for the Nasdaq 100 since April.
Yeah, I mean, sell the good news. I don't know. I mean, listen, you've got your first big reversal of a couple days since, I don't know, June. Um, I mean, I think there was a lot of fake breakouts. Let's look at Coinbase for one. Um, that was just assumed to continue to go higher. So that's on it came from way down. So I honestly think this is just the volume would make you nervous in August or beginning of August, but then on the upside you had Meta and you had Reddit, right? So I just think you just got to really pick your poison here and be careful on you got to play a little bit of defense um, with your breakouts. Uh, I think you had signs of froth with like the American Eagle thing, maybe the shortest meme stock of all time. So people were just starting to get a little stupid. Um, so I don't know. It seems like it trapped some people. VIX had a quick spike over 20, so people quickly, started panicking. A couple down days in a row. So don't worry about it. And then, but interest rates. But then I look at some stuff that I worry about in interest rates. Yeah, see the big spike like so quickly.
Yeah.
And then interest rates kind of just trying to bottom. So I'm like, I'd rather see interest rates um, start to bottom here and see some good price action. And then today, just some stupidity with, we're doing this on Friday, just with, the Banana Republic stuff, just firing people because he doesn't like the numbers, Trump. Uh, you know,
Yeah,
Again,
actually,
the Fed's been politicized over 20 years, so that I'm not like picking on one person. It's just become a political organization, and interesting how it's now trying not to be, I guess, but in trying not to be, it's maybe being the most politicized it's ever been. So I don't know. I think you got to be really, again, if you're indexing, no biggie. If you've been chasing breakouts, I think you got to be a little bit concerned. But I like that interest rates are stable in America relative to the rest of the world. The rest of the world seems like a joke for the most part in terms of like business and Trump's as an American business person, it's mixed, right? If you're running a business like Lululemon or Deckers that relies on, you know, the rest of the world and you're in the textile business, I mean, look at Lululemon. They're not happy. Uh, but if you're NVIDIA, you think Trump's great because you can get in the room with them
it,
and you
it
get
has nothing to do with him, though. They're just riding a completely different trends. And
I
Lulu,
understand, but Lulu
yeah.
can't get a meeting with the president and go, listen, you're fucking us over over
Lulu is a
China.
Canadian company, and their issue was long before tariffs.
Of course, I'm just telling you that if you're tech, you have a voice in the White House, and that's a good thing to be in tech. So that's what the market's telling you right here. If you have
Oh,
a
not Apple.
well, Apple's
Yeah.
China, right? Such a big. Apple's not. Apple's like a conglomerate now that is doing quite well, though, considering its size and how complicated its business compared to a Lulu or compared to an LVMH, another luxury product. Apple's a luxury product maker, and compared to LVMH, it's doing quite well. But yes, compared to other tech stocks, I mean, listen, you know, uh, in terms of growth, they're struggling, but they have a hell of a business underneath the surface with their services business. All right, so what do you see? And
Yeah.
again, like I think like the main chart here is the indexes, and you got to say, listen, we were due for a smack in the face. It came in high volume, and now
Yeah.
you got to like kind of assess.
Yeah. I wanted to cover, three different topics real quick.
Yeah.
First of all, the big drop in interest rates today, how the government has been talking about, oh, we need lower interest rates. because of currently the government pays more than $1 trillion in interest just on debt. So
Hmm.
they've been trying to pressure the Fed to lower interest rates. And today we got a labor report which was below expectations, which actually was the cause for the drop
Got
in
it. Yeah.
rates because the market now is expecting that the Fed
Slow down.
is
Yeah.
starting to worry about labor and is going to consider cutting rates. And
Yeah.
obviously, Trump complains. Why are you complaining? It's actually will help your
Yeah.
agenda
Well,
to
I don't
lower
think he
rates.
really understands. He just yells at the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Good point. Good point.
the other topic, last week we talked about that we're entering a seasonally weak period. August and
Yeah.
September tend to be negative, like down 3 to 5%, especially in the second year after the elections. And so far this year, I mean, I know a lot of people don't believe seasonality, but so far this year it's been following the scheme like almost 100%. So I think it would be a little bit irrational not to pay attention to seasonality because the market seems to be reacting to it. And so it wasn't a fully unexpected. Obviously, we saw a lot of frauds, not a lot, but some version of fraud in the past couple weeks or so. And this week, we got this IPO Figma, which was initially priced at $33, I think. Everybody got like one share only allocation. And then, it gapped up near 100, it reached 140. So, there are some signs of fraud, obviously, but there's also just a lot of demand for speculative meme stocks.
Well,
Uh,
remember Kathy Wood. So, but you also got to remember, yeah, supply demand. Kathy Wood is back, got a bit of a hot hand. Everything she's, you know what I'm saying. So that's what she's going to buy is this, and I think uh, it's a great company. There's been very little supply, of great companies. But yeah, Figma was doing maybe $4 million in revenue. I mean, it isn't, it's a great company, but I mean, it was in 2018, it was doing $4 million in revenue. So it's also a beautiful um, thing that like a company can grow this fast into the hundreds of millions of dollars on its own. But yeah, I don't buy IPOs. So, um,
yeah. So,
we, but this is,
yes.
it's good. I think underneath it all with Goldman and JP Morgan so strong, they're going to do deals. But yeah, we're ahead of itself. When the VIX can spike that much on a 2% move, uh, you know, I like that. I mean, it's very sensitive out there. People realize it's stupid and frothy, and so they quickly pull off their chips, and that's good. But there was a lot of volume for a Friday in August. Okay, what else were you going to say?
Yeah. Uh, so we talked about weak seasonality, so you have to pay attention to it because this means a lot of breakouts are not going to follow through. And they're, even in the strongest stocks, they're just going to go, sideways, build a new base. So the third topic I wanted to touch upon is that so far this earnings season, anything related to AI has been on fire, has been crushing estimates. And obviously, last week we saw that with Microsoft, which is kind of the only uh, publicly traded play on OpenAI, and also Meta, and then a bunch of other like AI data center component plays. Like all of those stocks, they're coming up, they're crushing estimates, they're gapping up. The market is reacting favorably, despite the fact that they've been in an uptrend for a while. So basically since January 2003, there has been one big trend, AI, and everything else that happened has been basically like a sideshow, and it didn't matter. Uh, if you look at like the best performers in the past 2.5 years and the companies that actually managed to keep their gains, they're all related to AI. So this is the big trend. Obviously, I'm not uh, everybody knows that, but those stocks, keep, pulling back to their 50, 200-day moving average, if you're lucky, and they keep building new bases and they just continue higher as the market has no clue how to really price them at this point, because nobody knows what the effect really will be. on society
Yeah.
in the next 10 years or so.
Yeah. Listen, I'll give you my quick take, and I think you'll say it the same as an independent, a very small one-man shop like I am in many ways with our content, is it's just started to come to me, and you're so busy with the baby and everything, so it's harder for you. But maybe it isn't. We'll go through this quickly. When I started a business before you were born in the 90s and the 80s, you had to wait 3 weeks to get a phone to just come to your office that you had to have to get set up at a fax and blah blah blah. There's no internet, and so 0 to 1, which is starting a company, was you're gonna first of all the odds of failing were very high because you have all this upfront cost. Secondly, how do you reach customers and the cost of starting a business high. Then along comes the internet, great. Then huge boom. Then the bust. And then along comes the cloud and Web 2, huge boom, then a bust. Why the cloud? Because AWS, you start a company 10 times cheaper than you could in the last boom. Same with, phones to internet. And then this time without a bust, other than 21, 22 COVID, you've got a 10 times boom in starting a business. You can go create a website. You're with AI. You can go get a newsletter. You can go you'll build everything with AI, all your content, etc. And so it's 10 times easier to start a business, right? And business and it's much higher margin type businesses because you don't have to staff up. So I think that's the excitement of AI, right? This 0 to 1 has become 10 times faster in an AI generation. And that's what is getting priced in right now. Of course, it's going to overshoot at some point, but we really are at just the beginning because I'm starting to use products I haven't finally, and I'm 60 that are blowing my mind, right? Whether it's Lovable or whether it's, not so much ChatGPT, but all the LLMs that I can use to like make content and create stuff. So I think that's the boom. You have to understand the tools that matter. There's going to be huge disruption along the way, even amongst companies that look like they're winning in AI. But that's why you're going to have I think I was shocked to see so little volatility for so long, and I think we might have to get used to some more volatility because the markets have really started to price this in. So that's kind of where we're at. Are you using any of the AI stuff yet?
I mean, I've been using it for a while, but probably not in the most productive manner. I'm just
Correct.
asking questions on
Correct.
topics
You will start,
just to
something will hit
educate
with you.
myself. Yeah.
Yeah, something will hit with you. Correct. Like you're just starting. And it's like, I'm quite confident knowing you that something will click, right? Just like Twitter, it wasn't always Facebook, it wasn't always Twitter, and then the phone came. Like once this stuff starts happening, you're going to start seeing applications around, what you're interested in that just 10x your ability to work. And so that's what's so exciting about it. Like the early adopters see it, but it's not too late for now there's going to be a lot of like fake companies and a lot of companies that look good that burn out because it's infrastructure, right? And we don't know the infrastructure companies. Most of us aren't tech and most of us don't understand how this shit's made. But now we're going to get into the application parts, and it's going to get more exciting. So go on your trip. I'm not telling people where you're going in Bulgaria because it's a travel. I don't want to like risk your life with fans. And then we'll see you when you get back.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Oh, what were you going to say about Amazon? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. You mentioned AWS, so I just pulled it up. So it's
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're like Apple. Like, I mean, listen, they have a lot of they got a lot of infrastructure competition from Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure. So it's not, it's not as easy for them at that size.
yeah.
All right, have a great vacation.
All right, Howard, thanks.